kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
In the booth by Matt Metler forgot to turn my mic back on there, but yeah, we're live here at Lanier. Liam Irving with Matt Metler here live on Sim Racing Media. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing great as we come back and collide with VASTT for round number 2 in primetime Sunday night right here in the state of Georgia. Like the presidents of the United States and America said in their song, Peaches, the Peach State. But we're going to kick it up a notch. We're going to let these boys uncork themselves around this historical speedway. In Rage Battle tonight is about to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 130 laps in our feature. Currently, it looks like 27 drivers have shown up. We've got two 15-lap heats where the top 10 will advance, and then a 25-lap last chance qualifier to try to make it into the feature where the top 5 will advance, which means of the 27 drivers who have shown up, only 25 will be in the feature. We're going to see a couple of go-homer situations potentially throughout the course of this thing. We'll go ahead and drop the race info for right now and bring up the tower as qualifying is on. Tower doesn't seem to want to be my friend right now, but we'll let you know that Ryan Bird right now is the fastest with a 13:46.
Yeah, Bird's bringing the herd around that racetrack, as you said, at a 13:46, top of the pylon right now. But like you said, We got multiple rounds of heat racing here tonight, old school style. You know, I think we need to see more of this in the limelight within iRacing. This has been a breath of fresh air to me to kind of kick off my week right now. Last week, you couldn't ask for anything any better, as we saw the 87 showing off there a little bit. But like you said, you're going to have a case of the go or go homers. And while those slots are very limited, you certainly don't want to be the driver putting the car on the hauler going home before we even kick the feature off.
Yeah, absolutely. You do not want to, don't want to have to go home before the big show gets started, but that is unfortunately looking to be the case for a couple of drivers, as I believe 28 have shown up here to the racetrack as we watch Thomas Green put down now his third lap. He's put down a 13:51, good enough for fourth. We'll run through your qualifying order quick. So far, Ryan Bird still with that 13:46 sits in first, but Braxton DeWeese with a 13:48 sits in second, should be able to lead his heat unless somebody jumps up in there and gets between them. But Mo Perry out on the racetrack, and John Forbes Jr., one of the last guys to come out and take a lap. Most everybody has completed a lap so far. And
yeah, but we
we
still got a little bit of time left on the clock. If someone's going to jump up there and steal one from Ryan Bird or Braxton DeWeese, I see some shout outs to the 15 in the chat. Chris, we see you. Thanks for jumping on board with us tonight as we have a high octane, high action packed set of racing to go down short track style this evening. If you guys are new to SRM, make sure you smash that like button, ring the bell as we're closing in on 3,000 subscribers. Help us reach that milestone by becoming part of the family if you haven't already.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate everybody who tunes in, whether it be because you like our content or whether you like these leagues. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, subscribing, and so yeah, if you guys could maybe tell a friend, help us get up to that 3,000 mark. I think we're just about 40 away, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. Maybe we can get the job done before the 500. But as we watch Mo Perry go around a couple of times here, just kind of filling out the remaining qualifying time. We've got a minute left here in the session, and I believe, everybody's put down all three of their laps with the exception of one Todd Lamphere, who elected for 2 laps.
Yeah, so the only car remaining on the racetrack, like you were saying, that 54 of Mo Perry, and he had speed at times last week as well. He's going to look to see if he can put more of a consistent effort together over the course of these heat races. And the main feature here tonight is you see him working the bottom side of the racetrack. You know, this track's a little bit of a hybrid as we see that 09 machine piloted by the Matt Trosk in that Mobile One Kevin Harvick reminiscent Ford Mustang out there on the racetrack. But this racetrack's a little bit of a hybrid. It's wide, and it has a little bit of a progressive banking, especially in those top 2 lanes. Obviously, there's a ton of difference from that bottom groove to that outside groove around the rim. Is there an advantage running up there when tires are old? What do you think?
I don't think so. I think this is going to be similar to last week, where it's going to be a bottom feeder, but at the same time, this track is much different from what we raced at last week. Last week, it was a long 3/4 mile, long straightaways, banked corners. Yeah, you've still got a lot of banking in these corners, but you have nowhere near the amount of straightaway that you had last week. So you're probably not going to stop turning until you take the checkered flag, to quote one of the drivers I spoke to earlier on in the night. But let's go ahead and take a look at our grid here for the first heat. We've got Ryan Bird, Philip York, Dominic Chisholm, Justin Sipes, last week's winner, Rob Hattenback, Isaac Shelley, Mason Cassidy, Christopher Smith, Daniel Veglon, Kyle Rochelle, Todd Lamphere, John Forbes Jr. We'll go ahead and advance the page and get rid of that driver detail at the bottom. And Jim Duda and Owen Joyce rounding out the field of heat race number 1. This should be a phenomenal show here. As we get down, get ready here for the start. Everybody's getting gridded up. Just waiting on a couple more drivers.
Yeah, if you hear that right now, that is the calm before the storm as these 14 competitors get ready to bring those V8s to life and light up the night sky in Georgia with that beautiful sound of V8 reminiscing through the hills and through the streets. Nothing sounds better than these cars in a pack wound up around the racetrack.
No, these cars have a monster of a motor. We talked about it a little bit last week. The amount of torque that these drivers are able to get coming out of the corners is huge compared to a lot of things that I've personally driven. And at a track like this where the straightaways are so short, that throttle control I can only believe is going to be huge when it comes down to late in the race as we get these guys rolling off for the Think of First Responder Shootout, heat race number 1. 2 more laps and then we go green here for the first green flag of the night. I tell you what, Matt, I am pumped. I am through the roof right now, and I know I'm trying to seem a little monotonous here, but man, this is going to be a good show. I love Lanier. I love what these guys were able to do last week, and especially given some of the late race action we saw last week. These guys are absolutely all out, not willing to give an inch, trying to get everything they can.
I think they definitely over-exceeded expectations with that performance last week, especially late in that feature. As the lights go out on that iRacing.com pace car, you know what that means, race fans. We're getting ready here. The eye of the storm is brewing right now. It's getting ready to set off as the 49 of Ryan Bird and these guys go ahead and fire off and take the green flag, racing down into 1.
Down the back straightaway, still dead even for the race lead. Coming up off of turn number 4, Ryan Bird is able to keep in front of Philip York. Looks like Christopher Smith has had himself a little bit of a problem towards the back of the field. He continues on. Ryan Bird, however, is still under fire. Dominic Chisholm, heat race winner last week, was able to get a top 5, trying to continue that momentum on, and now he looks to the inside of Ryan Bird. The 97 goes wide.
Yeah, the 97 goes wide, and Ryan Bird is just under siege from everybody from second position on back. That 87 of Dominic Chisholm, he is looking peeking.
And he gets into the back of Bird. Bird hard into the wall on the outside. That's going to bring out the first caution of our heat races.
Oh, Dominic pokes him, and it looks like the 97 strokes him into the outside wall. Heavy damage on the 49 of Bird. Oh my goodness. I mean, look at that replay. That was just a 1-2 whack-a-mole there. And just nowhere to go. I mean, that kind of velocity at those speeds, I mean, you start to just shoot out towards the wall like that. The brakes, nothing's going to slow you down in time. The 87 feeling really racy early on there. You can see him just peeking to the inside. He sticks his nose in there. The 49 doesn't feel him down there, and he just gets turned and kibosh as the train comes on by and just puts him into the outside wall.
Absolutely a tough break for the 49 of Ryan Bird. He was so fast in qualifying, obviously started up front, was able to get out to an early lead. But that is another thing that we should bring up, as I believe we've got some sort of commotion. No, it's just SDK being weird during the heat races. We kind of experienced a little bit of that last week, but we're managing here. It's Dominic Chisholm holding on to the race lead. Justin Sipes in second, and I gotta wonder, is there any damage on that car after making that little bit of contact with the 49 when he got sideways?
The front of that Ford Fusion looks pretty clean, and I don't think it was the 87 that gave him the hardest shot there. I believe it was the finishing move given by the, I believe it was either the 55 or the 97 that may have kind of...
55 of Justin Sipes. That was the one that made that second bit of contact with the 49, but the lights are off on the pace car. Dominic Chisholm is going to lead him down, and we're going to see if Ryan Bird can get himself back up into the top 10. A great restart out of the 87, but a strong run up top for the 55 as he tries to keep his fender right up on the rear quarter of the 87.
Look at the fight in that 55 machine. Sipes, that outside line, like you were saying, is not the preferred way around here, but he is determined to make a bid to stay up front. But look at the hornet's nest building on back as they're 3 wide right now. Oh my goodness, this early on in a heat race. Remember, just about everyone is going to make
sideways up into the corner, hat back. the nice save there. Sorry to cut you off there, Matt, but Hadback had himself a hefty moment there as now we see Jim Duda trying the same. They're still double wide here in the back, and we have only got 4 laps to go in this heat race. Dominic Chisholm trying to defend from Philip York. But I tell you what, one thing that we didn't have last week is a smooth transition from banking to apron. Last week, it was a pretty hard transition. You couldn't get below that yellow line, but we saw with that first caution, these guys are able to get down below the yellow line, and you see a little bit of a shot there out of the 97 to the back of Chisholm. 2 laps to go in the heat race. We'll keep an eye on this, and we'll tell you all about the battle for the transfer spot as that heats up, and around goes to 21. The caution comes out.
Oh my goodness. How you couldn't ask for a more action-packed start to Heat 1 as these guys have set the tone for the night. A heat race, a last chance qualifier, it doesn't matter. They are going to run lights out, and the 21 gets the business side, the wrong side of the business, if you will, as he's going to find himself around. Taking a look here, going from the chopper cam here, the 21's on the low side of the racetrack. You can see him getting down low, right in that yellow line. Let's see what happens. Oh, the 24 checks up a little bit.
So the 24 gets turned around, and then the 1 gets up into the back. Kyle Rochelle gets into the back of the 21, turns him around, and that's what brings out the caution. And now we're going to have ourselves a 2-lap shootout, I believe, to decide the finish of the first heat race of the night. And I tell you what, you want to talk about an action-packed start to the night. This is insane racing going on. These guys are all out, and well, I think Lanier is doing what Lanier does, Matt.
Yeah, you said it exactly. The first incident, the leader gets donkey punched out of the way, and then the second incident results in a double doink. I mean, and this is only a heat race.
It's only a heat race, but we've got 2 laps to go. Green flag is out. The 87 with a nice restart. The 97, Philip York trying to get down to the inside. Right back on the back bumper. We'll look towards the back. Trying to see what this top 10 race. They're spinning up front, and around goes the 87. We looked away at a bad time. They're crashing heavily. Did they take the white flag before the... no, they did not. We're going to go back and take a look to see what happened, and that was a bad time for us to have cut away from the action up front. Trying to look at what happened for the... was happening for the transfer spot, but here we go from the restart. Chisholm gets turned sideways, I believe, by the 97 of York.
It's got to be York that gives him the business here.
He might have just gotten sideways up on his own, had an overcorrection after the apron, and spun back around. There might have been a little bit of netcode, but...
It could have been a little bit of netcode. It could have been him getting loose. It could have been the air coming off of the car. But regardless, the 87 spins across the nose of the entire field in Talladega-style apocalypse hits in Heat 1 as there's multiple race cars that are thrashed and bashed. And we don't even have the first heat race in the books.
No, these guys are trying to give us every extra lap of racing they possibly can as we have another shot at a green-white checker here to finish this off. And I want to just bring a shout-out to the front bumper of that 55 car. It is bent. It is beat. But he's still out there sitting in second place, and he's got enough time where his crew is going to be able to fix that thing before the feature. If everything goes right, we've still got 2 laps to go, and the top 10 make it. The bottom 4 have to go to the last chance qualifier. Green flag back out, and around goes the 99.
The round goes to 99 as Shelley now, the 98 is Shelley now takes his turn at the lead. We still stay under green. You almost don't want to be the leader, it seems, as we learned through the first 2 incidences of this one, as the white flag comes out, so the 98 of Shelley has to complete one more circuit. Oh, as the 99's on the inside of the racetrack, all the cars at the speed are going to pass him. And look at this, here goes
looking down to the inside, not going to be enough. Isaac Shelley takes Heat 1. We've got a big crash towards the back.
We got a big crash towards the back again. Oh, as the 26 gets into the after party, as we got a guy doing the old pit maneuver there. I forget, maybe it's not the pit maneuver, but when you throw it in reverse and wheel whip it like that.
That's
but
not
almost,
the pit, no, but we're going to see what happened here and then go quickly through your Heat 1 results. Actually, nope, the replay was cut off. So
I mean, you got everything.
we'll just pull it up here. Heat race number 1.
Well, if you guys at home watching this live feed have anything of what this night's going to be like tonight, if Heat 1 doesn't set a precedence, oh my goodness, because it's only going to intensify from here. Is you had wrecks going on all over the place, and I'm pretty sure Shelley got a little bit of a message as that race was about to unfold as we were cutting to the back as that last wreck was happening near the rear of the field. As we get ready to re-rack him, restack him again. Braxton DeWeese, Thomas Green, the 3 and the 15, they're going to start on the front row. And it almost seems like you do not want to be the leader out there until it's 1 or 2 laps to go.
All right, so I'm trying to get those Heat Race 1 results. Obviously, we know the winner was Isaac Shelley in the 98. But lesson has been learned. We want to get to the results right away instead of dissecting the last lap crash. So,
Calamity Corner has been turn 4. As you see there, once again, the 26 pointing in the wrong direction here. We'll see if the 15, the 3, Braxton DeWeese, Thomas Green, and the rest of these competitors can maybe just keep their emotions in check just a little bit as that pace car pulls down off of pit road and we go back under green flag conditions once again.
absolutely, we've got a spin up in turn number 1. That's going to bring the caution out right away. The pace car doesn't even get a chance to park. And Matt, appreciate that smooth transition there while I tried to work in these cameras. But already off to a pretty... not so pretty start here in the second heat. A caution on the first lap in the heat, which I really think that's kind of a product of this track. Like I've mentioned a little bit before, we don't quite have that it's not a hard transition between the apron and the banking. So we're going to see guys getting down low, having better chances at getting runs here. And
well, one thing is for certain. Like always, the drivers usually do the opposite of what the announcer or the commentator says, and that's exactly what they did. They didn't waste any time telling, nope, Matt, we're going this way, as we've seen another incident break out on lap 1 in heat 2. So we're going to have to restack them, re-rack them again, and like you were saying, there's just that smooth, seamless transmission. There's all that real estate to work with. And sometimes as a race car driver, when you're seeing red and there's just that little bit of daylight, these boys are taking it tonight on a hope and a prayer, and it's producing some fireworks right now. But you almost got to feel like if this type of racing action keeps up or escalates, there's going to be a lot of upset and bruised emotions and egos at the end of this one.
all right, well, here we go. With the lights are out on the pace car, Braxton DeWeese in the 15 is going to hold on to the inside lane. Thomas Green to his outside. Ollie Fonseca and Ethan Smith in row number 2. Green flag is out and a nice run for the 15 as he gets away. And while we have a moment during the second heat, we're going to bring in the winner of the first heat. Isaac Shelley, you had yourself a... quite a run there in that first heat. We're watching the second one go on, but kind of walk us through what happened there in the late stages to bring you to the victory.
Yeah. We had not a great starting effort. The qualifying efforts, I should say. And I was just kind of determined to do what I could in the heat race, and I had a good couple starts there from the outside, was able to get down the bottom and work it well. But yeah, the 2 leaders wrecked in front of me there, and I was able to take advantage. So hopefully we get all of our crashing and business out of the way in the heat race. We have a good clean feature and have a lot of fun.
Rock on, man. You definitely put on a good show there in that first one, and we're looking forward to hopefully talking to you in the next maybe at the end of the feature as we get a little bit of contact here. We'll send you back to, I believe, Vail Racing.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. Thanks for joining us up here, Isaac Shelley, winner of heat race number 1.
Yeah, as we go back to the racing track side, the 81 and the 5 were on a collision course there. He cut right across his nose. We're 3 wide. The 81's the meat.
Hard into the wall is the 5. And the 81 still gets through.
How does that? That's a miracle. That never happens. These guys are just at it, going gangbusters here tonight, as this track is provoking the beast within everybody turning laps around here, it seems right now.
Meanwhile, the 12 is able to run away with the transfer spot, at least so far. He's got a 2-car length gap. Braxton DeWeese is trying to hold on to the race lead right now. White flag is out in the heat number 2. And I tell you what, we'll see if that 3 tries to jump down to the inside and maybe make a bump and run move. He gets to the back bumper. He touched him. He got him a little bit sideways, but not quite enough. Braxton DeWeese is going to take home heat race number 2. That is Thomas Green, Ollie Fonseca, Aaron Kralik, Mo Perry, Ethan Smith, Matt Trouch, Danny Cochran, Jarrett Talmadge, and Mitchell Rayburn was the last one to transfer in. And now we've got ourselves the 25-lap last chance qualifier. 5 drivers out of 8 will make it. And I tell you what, if the first 2 heats have anything to say about what we're about to see here, we're in for a show.
Tell me about it. If I'm still in the pits, I want to put a different helmet on. Give me a flak vest. Give me some battle pads out there, because it is all out lightning war on that racetrack tonight. Probably 2 of the best heat races I have ever seen are called in my life. I mean, the last chance qualifier. Do you want to take a chance going out on the racetrack? But I guess you're going to have to if you want to make the main event. And for Shelley there, I mean, I bet you he couldn't wait to see that checkered flag as he was almost wrecked. I mean, he couldn't have gotten any closer. And great heads-up racing, and showcasing his professionalism and his skill set, by not wrecking the leader there. But wow, these guys are ready to rock and roll again as the iRacing.com pace car is back out on the racetrack for that last chance qualifier. The lights are out, and you know what that means. We're going to turn these boys loose this time by.
Absolutely. We've got 25 laps with only 8 cars, but still 25 laps of amazing short track action coming your way here. And we can't thank you enough for tuning in with us. As the pace car goes off, we're going to go green for the 3rd time tonight, and around goes the 26 right away on the start. Hard into the inside wall. Looks like we stay green so far, and that is an absolutely tough break. Jason Tabor is upside down.
He wall rides. He's going to outdo Ross Chastain up on 2 wheels, and he's over on the roof. And lightning strikes at the start-finish line, followed by the thunderous thunder as he wall rides and ends up on his roof as we go back to the instant replay.
Yeah, we're going to start with the initial race start where the 26 maybe just gets a little bit too hard on the throttle, gets turned around. Jason Tamer, meanwhile, racing with the 9 Mopar machine, comes up the track and just climbs up the wall. Hard contact for the 9 on the inside. Sean Huffstutler with a heavy hit there. And that might end Jason Tamer's night, as he had to take a tow, go back to the pits here. He's going to be a couple of laps down here. He does have 25 laps, but he's going to have to account for a couple more cautions here.
Tell you what, sim ride, real life or not, that was one heck of a ride the 81 took there. I wouldn't even want to be in the simulator when that unfolded, as he almost basically went head on where the wall separates for the pit access. I mean, he got set in there like grandma's business, up on 2 wheels. That was just insane.
It certainly was. That's a really tough spot to hit too, right where that opening is, kind of right near there is always a scary spot to hit, as the 11 car all the way up on the gas as soon as the pace car gets going. Forbes, Walter, Smith, Moniz, Huffstutler, Lamphere, and Tamer. Obviously we saw in the pits Big lead for the 11 car right now, though, as they are side by side racing for 5th place, trying to figure out who's going to transfer in.
And that's right
on the outside. The 9 car with damaged front end, still working the inside.
Yeah, that 9's got all kind of damage on the front after sending the 81 on a wild wall ride. But he's still got that thing racing as he overtakes the 5. He's going to try to fight back on the top side. He's going to clear the position as the 9's looking for more, putting pressure now on the 99 machine of Robert Hottenbach. He's currently in the 4th position, up 1 from where he started, going back up through the field. That's going to bring us to the 57 of Thomas Walter. He started 2nd. He's now in 3rd.
Meanwhile, Christopher Smith sitting 5 spots up from where he started. We saw him get turned around in his heat race. Now he's sitting in 2nd place from 7th, chasing down John Forbes Jr., who is leading this race. John Forbes goes a little bit wide there. That might give the 21 a little bit more of a run.
Yeah, but how about John Forbes catching the whole field on the snooze button as he was able to check out to the biggest lead we've seen out of anybody on point tonight. And that's almost what you want, because from what we've seen so far, you almost don't want to be the leader because there's a high probability you're going to get doorbelled and wrecked. And that was probably the best case scenario for John Forbes, as he just checks out on the field. But right now, he has a mirror full of that 21 and Christopher Smith, who's trying to play the old Intimidator, just hanging off of his back bumper, try to get him look up through his rear view mirror there, make a mistake, because if he leaves a tiny hole, I guarantee you that 21 is going to take it.
Yeah, like you said, that 11 had a phenomenal start, phenomenal restart there, and was able to get out to a nice gap that we haven't really seen out of anybody. But this 21, Christopher Smith, is able to chase him back down as we have 10 laps to go in this heat. It is John Forbes Jr., Christopher Smith, Thomas Walter, Rob Hattenbach, and Dakota Moniz rounding out your top 5. Sean Huffstutler trying his best to get back up into that top 5. And Todd Lamphere is just hoping for another caution, maybe get him back on the lead lap so he can try to race his way into the feature. Meanwhile, Jason Tamer has elected to park it for the day, knowing that the tow and the repairs were going to take quite some time. It's a very unfortunate deal for Jason Tamer. He had a lot of speed today, and definitely not the way you want to end up one of these weekends, but we've still got a battle for the race lead right now, as into the wall goes 3rd place Thomas Walter. He's got himself in the show right now, but he's still pushing.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the storyline so far tonight. If you're in the main event or not, they want 110% of every inch they can gain on that racetrack at any cost, and that has been proven time and time again so far. But there's a difference in catching somebody and passing somebody, and that's what we're seeing right now with Christopher Smith in that 21 machine. He's caught John Forbes Jr. He's all over him. He just can't seem to get by him. Sure, he can put the doorbell, the chrome bumper to him and bump him out of the way, but he wants to do it, or seems to do it, seems like he wants to do it the right way, and that's for a racing move out there on the racetrack that doesn't wind up ruining the 11's night.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see the 11 actually getting about a car length of a lead now this time around, we see the 21 really trying to work that inside entry. Both of these guys touching down on the apron as we have 3 laps to go, coming to 2 laps to go here in the last chance qualifier. When it comes down to the race for the final transfer spot, it looks like Moniz should have it, but Huffstutler is not too far behind. He might be able to get this in the last 2 laps. We'll go back up to your race lead right now. John Forbes has 1 lap to go to defend from Christopher Smith. Smith has been on his rear bumper the whole time, but right now seems a little bit too far back to make a move. Coming out of the corners, the final time through 3 and 4 right there. Now it's going to be Forbes, Smith, Walter, Hottenbach, and Moniz is going to be able to keep it together for the 5th place, the final transfer spot. And I tell you what, man, that did not disappoint. Only 8 cars in that last chance qualifier.
It's certainly
pretty good show right there.
That was a phenomenal show. I mean, heat 1, 2, and 3 were all barn burners. And guess who made it to Forbes? That's right, That man out there tonight steals one in the last chance qualifier. And unfortunately, on the outside looking in, that challenger was challenged and compromised by that damage early on when he set the 81 on that crazy ride up the wall. And you got a couple gentlemen that are on the outside looking in, but we got a lot of torn up race cars that are getting ready to go out here and run this feature. And I just have to wonder, if that was a heat race, what is this going to yield?
Well, I tell you what it's going to yield. It's going to yield the most cars we've seen on track all night. We've got 25 of the best super late model drivers on this service showing up here to put down 110 laps for guts and glory. As the pace car rolls off, we will go through your starting grid. We've got Isaac Shelley, Braxton DeWeese, Justin Sipes, Thomas Green, Daniel Veglan, Ali Fonseca, Jim Duda, Aaron Krolick, Mason Cassidy, Mo Perry, Dominic Chisholm, Ethan Smith, rounding out your top 12, your first page. And Matt, I know I run through these a lot, but I tell you what, I'll give you this one, if you'd like it. It's all right for the sake of continuation. Kyle Rochelle, Matt Trouch, Ryan Bird, Danny Cochran, Philip York, Jarrett Talmadge, Owen Joyce, Mitchell Raboon. I'm sorry. John Forbes Jr., Christopher Smith, Rob Hottenback. The pace car is off. We are going green. And sideways is the 98, Isaac Shelley. He's going to concede the lead to Braxton DeWeese. Braxton is able to get out to about a 2-3 car length lead right now. As we look a little bit further back, we're side by side for 5th place right now. As you see the 42, Ali Fonseca trying to work the outside of the 52 Haviland machine. A little bit further back, we've almost got some 3-wide action as the 71 gets in with a nice run. Kyle Rochelle to his inside. That's Mason Cassidy in the 71. Got Mo Perry right up in front of him, but a lot of side-by-side happening right behind him. There's Ryan Bird. We've got ourselves a crash towards the back of the field. That's going to likely bring out a caution. Ethan Smith, Rob Hattenback, and Christopher Smith, I believe, are all caught up in that. We're going to go ahead and take a look to see what happened. Looks like the 57 got turned initially. Hatback with nowhere to go. Obviously the 00 Ethan Smith also nowhere to go. You see the 5 Dakota Moniz race his way in the last chance qualifier. Not much he could do there. That's going to bring out our first caution of the big show here.
Yeah, as we find ourselves under caution, no surprise again. It's the emotion and just the level of racing tonight just continues to boil over into incidences on the racetrack. These guys just can't seem to stay settled down in prime time. And a big catalyst is, like you were saying, that seamless transition on the racetrack. It's so wide out there compared to last week. And you, as a race car driver, when you turn it down into the corner, you see that big opening. But sometimes that opening isn't as big as it was by the time you get there, and things unfold and happen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really tough when you're at a short track like this, especially when these corners are so tight. You know, you can be mid-corner, and by the time you get told what's going on, you're, yeah, I don't know. It's everything happens so fast. It's definitely easy to get caught up in a mistake there.
Yeah, I'm sorry for leaving you there, bud, but this racing's even got my son fired up, and he spilled the soda all over my rig and mic controller, shorted it out, so I had to unplug it and reconnect my mic into the 3.5 millimeter jack in the back of the computer, but hey, we're back here with you. He's fired up, though. He's even having a good time, and he's 6.
That's what we love to hear, is we've got ourselves a restart right now. Braxton DeWeese takes the green flag and it gets himself about a car and a half length lead going down into turn number 1.
That's right, bad Braxton DeWeese. He's back out on the point, carrying the torch around Lanier. And second right now, the 55, no slouch. He knows his way up front. That is the 55, Justin Sipes. And in third, you seen him up front earlier tonight, the 98 of Isaac Shelley, who survived the carnage of heat race number 1. He is currently residing in that third position.
Yeah, we apologize for the graphical errors we've got going on. It is definitely past lap number 4. Philip York has crashed. And that's going to bring out our second caution of the day.
Yeah, unfortunately, York picking up kind of where he left off. He was a catalyst, I believe, in Heat 1 with some of those incidences that occurred on the racetrack. And he finds himself racing there with the 2 machine. Let's see what happens here. Oh, he just gets into him a little bit, checks up. Probably going to go off. No, he didn't go off the nose of the 32. I thought that's what happened.
Yeah, we'll take another look here. He might come down across the 50.
Oh, there it is.
There he goes around. Moniz with another good job of getting through that.
Yeah, the 12 just didn't check up, and he just decided he was going to drive right through him, it looked like there. But hey, that's short track racing, and that's what all these fans, everyone comes out to see Sunday night. So here we go again. We find ourselves under caution. High pacing resumes out on the racetrack. As we get back down to pace speed around this asphalt oval. I believe these guys have to use the same set of tires they have on that race machine. So they're going to have to manage those tires just a little bit. You really can't abuse them, not like in other series like ARCA, trucks, or others under the NASCAR umbrella, where, hey, if you burn the tires up, hey, at least you have extra sets down on pit road. Nope, not these guys. They get 1 set for the night, and that's it. So if you abuse them, you're going to lose them by the end of the race. So some of these guys are going to have to slow down just a little bit if they want to have some Dr. Feelgood left in their machine when that checkered flag falls.
Yeah, it's going to be tough as we get ready here for the next restart. These guys lining up once again. Braxton DeWeese on the inside. And once again, I apologize for the graphic errors we're having right now with unable to get the ticker going. But Braxton DeWeese, Justin Sipes lead the front row. Green flag back out. These guys are on it. And there goes Sipes to the inside of DeWeese. Turns him around and there's major contact.
Oh,
Sipes is upside down. The 52 got turned around.
What did I just witness? Are you kidding me? It looked like the one car got shot out of a rocket launcher. As he went sideways and launched into the catch fence, the 15 looks like he came... Hey, here, I'm just going to sit back and watch this roll.
Yeah, we'll take it slow-mo here. It looks like the 15 gets off to a phenomenal restart. Sipes jumps down to the inside, goes in for a deep entry, and it looks like he's just going to clip that left rear just enough to get him turned sideways under braking. And from there on out, it's just kind of...
Now it's about to get ugly. So you see the 98 Isaac Shelley down there, and bam, the sandwich. And the 55 is just going to get the old smackaroo off that concrete wall up on the roof. Reminiscent of Ryan Newman, unfortunately. And he's going to get tea-kettled by the 1, who's going to get Aaron Crank, who's going to get a windshield full of that machine. Good God. That's about as violent of a wreck I've seen on a track this small in a long time. That was just incredible.
Yeah, we'll take a quick look at live speed here from the blimp cam. Try to decipher this. Yeah, 55 saw an opening on the bottom, went for it, and everything just closed up right there. Tough break for Justin Sipes, your winner last week. Unfortunately, takes a little bit of a tumble this time around.
Yeah, if I'm the 55 of Justin Sipes, I'm probably sitting there scratching my head, going, what in the heck happened? Last thing I know, I have all 4 tires planted on the racing surface. The next thing I know, I'm coming in contact looking at some guy through my windshield, and I'm on my roof. That was just incredible.
Definitely a tough break for Sipes, but now we've got new leaders up front. Isaac Shelley is going to take the lead. Has a nice restart there. He's got the 3 of Thomas Green to his outside. Aaron Kralik right behind him in that tide ride. And like you said, it's kind of tough when you're the leader right now. You just kind of hope people don't dive bomb it and don't get into your back bumper. But
I was just going to say,
now have had a lot of time to, I guess, sit in frustration as the caution has come out once again. You sit a lot under caution. That's really gonna kind of get these guys anxious and make them want to push a little bit harder. We see what happens from Ryan Bird here. I believe in about a lap.
A little bit of wall contact there. I don't think that was the problem. Oh, there it goes.
Looks like Jim Duda went around behind, and the 64 just goes in deep. Both guys go around.
Oh my goodness. When these guys wreck tonight, I mean, they are full send wrecking. I mean, they're just, it's like in football, right? When you make the first hit, the guy doesn't go down. No, I mean, they are just monster trucking through everything until they hit that concrete wall. What I was going to say before we went under caution, it's almost like past the bullseye to the leader, but Shelley, that 98 machine, survived that last round in heat number 1 and came out the victor and survives at least that stint under green flag conditions. But yeah, I think if you're in the lead right now, your stress levels have to be pegged that someone's going to kamikaze you and just wipe you out going into the corner.
And here's something else I want to bring up here as we've got the weather up on the side. It's showing this session happening a little bit past 5:30, 5:45. This track temp sitting at 97 degrees. That's come down quite a ways from the 120 that these guys were dealing with before. So it's going to get a little bit grippier than what these guys are used to. But that's still not a super nice track temp.
No, it's not. And with the air temp, being under 80 degrees, looks can be deceiving. And that could be part of the formula or the catalyst for this mayhem we have going on right now on the racetrack.
Side by side once again, the pace car goes in. Isaac Shelley, Thomas Green on the front row. Green flag back out once again, and a pretty even start up front. It looks like the 3 tried to get down to the bottom, and now he's got the 42 of Ali Fonseca to deal with. To his inside, now Fonseca takes away second place. The 3 stuck up top. Is there 3 wide for third place right now?
3 wide, the 87. There is the 0, or the 0-1 on the outside of the racetrack. It got dicey there, but these drivers get it sorted as Shelley remains on point. Your leader currently right now, as you see the 42 and that 87 of Dominic Chosen, currently under battle, going through all the motions right now that we've seen all these race car drivers pacing themselves throughout the course of this one right now. As we go further on back through the field, right now we're looking at the 3 of Thomas Green.
Yeah, we're back under caution here. Ryan Bird has unfortunately found himself in a little bit more trouble here. We're going to take a look to see what happened to Ryan Bird here in the 49 after such a strong start to his heat race. Once again, contact with the 64 gets him turned around, and I gotta wonder, that's not the first time we've seen these guys get together. Is there a little bit more to that? Obviously, we saw the last time that we saw him get turned around, it was the 64 getting into the 49, so maybe something to keep an eye on as this race progresses. As we approach 70 laps to go, 75.
Remember what I said earlier, if this type of racing keeps up, there's going to be some bruised egos and fences that needed to be mended when this one is done. And I think you're absolutely right. If we keep seeing certain drivers, certain numbers having altercations on the racetrack, that's probably going to be a repercussion of something else. And don't look for that to die down anytime soon, especially if there's a high risk of being dumped out on the racetrack. And I would say it is a full course, double red flag right now for that to happen, almost like a tornado warning or a PDS watch out there. Everything points in the direction of this mayhem continuing to unfold right now as Shelley gets up there and makes contact with the pace car, showing off a little bit of Days of Thunder. Ask why not? We've had all kinds of, everything else has been hit out there tonight. Why not go up and hit the pace car? But hey, you guys at home, we appreciate you being here, watching some Sunday night short track action, and it has been a thriller thus far.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a lot of tempers, a lot of opportunities for tempers to start flaring. I mean, that's one of the glories of short track racing, is that these guys are absolutely, they're pushed to the edge right now. We're going to see Isaac Shelley get the green flag once again. Green flag back out in the air, and then actually a pretty nice restart there on the inside lane as the 87 of Dominic Chisholm trying once again to get up into that top spot. He's in second now, side by side, back behind him for fifth place. There's Rochelle getting down to the inside of the 0-1 of Kralik. And that Crawdad's not doing too great right now up on the top side, but he's going to be able to clear the 0-9 down on the inside. He's actually, that Crawdad ain't looking too bad.
No, he's not looking too bad, but oh my goodness, that 97 machine almost split up the racetrack and got into the 54 of Mo Perry, who is making his bid towards the front of this one as the laps wind down. But the Hornet's Nest right around the 11, the 5, this is where the racing action's 2x2 and really heating on back towards the back half of the field as we are stacked pitch and blanket over these guys as they are raging war out there right now. Oh, the 53 just about got turned. What a save.
Yeah, amazing drive by Duda. I was getting ready to say that the 71 found himself in the middle there. That's Mason Cassidy. Found himself in the middle for a couple of moments there. Didn't seem to be comfortable there. But just as you were talking with the 53 getting sideways, having an amazing save there coming up off of turn number 2. And now the 53. He's got the 64 right behind him. The 64 gets into the back of him. Turns him sideways. So now Duda tries to get back to him and turns around, hits the wall hard.
Yeah, Duda just survives round 1 of the double tap and saves it, and then gets the finishing move through the middle of the corner and can't recover the third strike, and is going to find himself on pit road with substantial damage on the race car. As you can see here, tap 1's going to come from the 12.
Yeah, we're watching the lap previous, and it looks like, yeah,
double tap.
64 just kind of said, hey, I'm here, and it really looks like Duda just tried to get up in there and maybe give him a piece of his own medicine or a piece of his mind. Unfortunately, Duda has to take to the pits.
Yeah,
and, it's interesting. We're not really seeing the 64 make a lot of friends. I'm sorry, Matt.
No, he's not. He's looking like the old school Kyle Busch out there as he's just rampaging his way through the field. I don't know how much of a front bumper that 64 is going to have left, but he is ending multiple drivers' nights tonight as Duda gets done dirty again in this one. And it looked like payback resulted in instant karma on Duda as well, as he just went full send in the corner, wasn't able to arc a brake, and just back hooked it right into the wall. And I believe he's going to be on pit road with extensive damage, unfortunately, for the remainder of this one. But how about Isaac Shelley surviving the bullseye, being on the back of the race car like he did in heat number 1? I mean, I haven't seen anyone out there other than Shelley that's been able to survive for more than 5 laps, let alone, plus 15 that 98 car has been out there. The 87 of Dominic Chisholm, He's been right up there knocking on the back door, and so is the 42 at times, but it seems like right now that 98 and the 87 are the cars to beat.
So far, they seem to be as we gear up for another restart. Isaac Shelley, Dominic Chisholm, Kyle Rochelle, Ali Fonseca, road number 2. Green flag is back out, and here comes the 87 trying to get right back down to the bottom, solidifying himself into that bottom lane as we're almost 3 wide for 5th place. Things stacking up quite a bit as we look back towards the middle of the pack.
That crazy train is a rocking and a shaking around this racetrack as we got 2 lines of hard and heavy racing beating and banging going on right now. Taking a look there at the 3 of Thomas Green, he has got a handful. In fact, all these drivers have a handful right now as they barely have any breathing room as we are basically bumper to bumper around this oval.
And Mo Perry gets turned around. We just switched the camera to Mo Perry because of chat. Preston Cope wanted us to get an update on Mo Perry, so I switched the camera to him, and unfortunately for him, he got turned sideways right there, running 10th place.
Yeah, Mo Perry got mowed over. Almost the broadcaster's curse, and I am so sorry. Just as we switched the camera, mayhem struck on the racetrack, and it looks like he had a cheese grater taken down the side of that 54 machine.
Yeah,
but I
it looked like Maniz had nowhere to go but to hit him on the inside. And the caution came out, obviously, because he got a car sideways in front of half of the field there. That it's a really tough deal.
You know, Mo's actually lucky that 5 got involved, because if he didn't, he was on a collision course that bent that car in half like a boomerang, coming into contact there with the pit road entrance, driver's side door.
Mo now sits in, I believe, the 11th place. Only lost 1 spot with that. Justin Sipes, we see him getting one of his laps back. Still sits 3 laps down at the time, but these cautions are falling into his favor as he is the first car 1 lap down. We see Braxton DeWeese, the last car on the lead lap. We obviously saw him get into trouble with some earlier contact, getting turned from the race lead. A tough deal for him, but he is on the lead lap right now and trying to recover as best as he can. Jump back up to the front just to double check on the pace car status, but we'll jump and check out a couple of other drivers that I know I've seen chatters talk about. Ethan Smith in the 00 currently sits in 19th place. A little bit of damage to that car. He was caught up in a crash. Mitchell Raboon sitting in the 15th place. We're doubled up though. We're going to jump back up to the front. Matt, take it away.
Here we go. We're going to re-rack him, restack him, reload him. Isaac Shelley has the button. He meshes on the loud pedal. He's going to set and get as he launches back to the point on the field. Picking up right where we left off as we continue to write this chapter. Oh, the big wiggle out of the 3. He's down off the groove and off the pace, but he's going to continue to march forward. Oh, and we got the 23 around. As disaster continues, or the 21, I'm sorry, the 21 continues as disaster continues to unfold on this racetrack. It's almost like if you blink or you just take a look or progress through the field, you know, from the broadcast booth, there is mayhem just happening all throughout this field at any given moment. Nobody is safe out there right now.
And I tell you what, there starts to build a frustration level in these drivers because they all know. They say, hey, we're better than this. We know that we can get through these laps clean. But all it takes is one mistake. And when you have so many cars this close on such a small track, such close quarters, one mistake, it's almost like Talladega style. Not because everybody's so packed up and drafting, but just because there's nowhere to go. You know, these guys are probably getting frustrated in the cars thinking, this shouldn't be happening, but this is absolutely 100%, I think, a product of just Lanier being Lanier. It's a really tough track. You almost never stop turning, and if you get down to the inside of somebody, it's probably the best way to get around them, so you're looking for any chance you can.
Yeah, and for a race car driver, it's kind of a different sensation when you're never really, you know, holding the wheel straight. You're always necessarily in an angle. The way that you approach a car, you know, when you're turning underneath of them, already turning and coming underneath him, that sensation and that depth perception is a little bit different. So if you don't get a lot of laps in practice at this racetrack, that could be another part of the issue here too as well, I think. But right now, I think the emotions have boiled over, or they're about to. And these drivers, yes, they are way better than that. But hey, Shelly, here we go. Let's do it again one more time. Green flag is back underway. And there they go. They fire off the cannon. The train is forming. The herd is coming behind that 98 machine as he's just off the bumper of Dominic Chosen in that 87 machine. Three
wide down the front straightaway, and look at this contact between the 97 and 01. Both of them go wide, and here comes the 11 trying to get in between them. He does. Now into the back of the 97. He gets turned around by the 24.
As they survive 3 wide, are you kidding me? And yet disaster is still going to unfold as we get 2 cars torn up. It's going to be the 11 and the 24 machine. The 11 is going to be piloted by, I believe, John Forbes, who we seen won this, I believe was the last chance qualifier. Are we still under green flag
conditions? We are still
right
under green flag conditions. I was just double checking on that. I have not seen anything indicating a caution flag. The lights stay green on the outside. The 24 gives way. Isaac Shelley trying to defend the lead from Dominic Chisholm. We haven't had a whole lot of chances for the pass for the lead, but this is where these guys are really trying to get a little bit more contact. I believe Kyle Rochelle has gone around down the back straightaway.
Yep, the one machine is pointing in their one direction, and he's going to have to get it going really quick here soon, as I believe caution now has officially came back out on the racetrack. But it almost seems like race control just said, hey, you know what? It's Sunday night prime time, and we're going to let these boys be boys, and we're going to let them at it.
Absolutely. I mean, if iRacing isn't going to call it, why step in right there? I don't know. It definitely stinks for those 2 guys. John Forbes, we saw get turned around. Owen Joyce as well. But, you know, we let them race for a little bit and go back, take a double check to see what happened to the 1 car of Kyle Rochelle coming up out of turn number 2. Or turn 4, rather. Looks like a little bit late there.
Yeah, while you're working
on a lap back. Go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say, while you're working on queuing up that replay, but how they survived that 3 wide and still alive coming out the other side was spectacular before this one unfolded. I didn't think they were going to make it through the corner. They somehow did.
Oh,
and then
no.
and the 49 and the 1. And then 9
trying to avoid the 24 who was coming to the pits. Everybody just kind of collided there, got together in a tough break.
Yeah, that one there I think is more of a racing deal. That wasn't intentional. And, you know, these cars are pretty much on the edge, going as fast as they can. And when you got someone, you know, checking up like that, get ready to come to pit road, and you're at speed, you really have nowhere to go. And that was a big byproduct or a big catalyst in that last incident out there on the racetrack. As we continue to see Isaac Shelley, continue to find ways to remain alive at the point in this one. He's the only driver yet still to lead this many laps tonight and who's not been spun off the bumper of a competitor. That 87 has been in second spot from the drop of the green flag. Just does not have enough car to just pass him and outpower him off the corner. But hey, we're going to restack him again.
Yeah, we'll see it with 34 laps to go. And sideways was the 87 on that restart there. Gives Isaac Shelley a chance to get out front, but the 87 going wide, using up all the racetrack he can. Those top 2 get away. Now here comes Ali Fonseca. Here comes the 87 down to the inside. He looked for it. Didn't quite have enough. The run came back to the 98, but the 87, man. Dominic Chisholm, he won a heat race last week. He wants to get a checkered flag in a feature. Isaac Shelley, though, on the other hand, was so close. As there's the 24 coming up out of the pits there. Isaac Shelley was so close. Racing last week, side by side. Made a little contact on a restart. Now he's got a chance for retribution.
How bad do you want it in that 87 of Dominic Chisholm? That was the best chance he had. He had his nose underneath cleanly, but the 98 was able to get a great drive off the corner as these two continue to battle, and Dominic continues to dial up the mental stress on our leader here tonight as we are just beating and banging door to door here as we go through the pack. We see that 5 machine of Braxton DeWeese on the outside, and the 5 machine on the inside of the racetrack, up 14 spots. That's Dakota Moyes, as he's currently doing battle door to door right there. No drivers giving each other an inch, but they are giving them plenty of real estate in the side-by-side action. Seeing some good race conduct out there on the racetrack, as the 5 is going to smartly give the spot to the 15 and survive the flight another day, in this case lap out here on the racetrack, as we continue to see that 52 machine and that Texaco Haviland paint scheme continue to charge up through the field. Even though he has some moderate damage on that Ford Mustang, he's starting to find some speed late in this one.
Absolutely he is, as he works down to the inside of Mason Cassidy. We'll kind of go through the field as we've got 25 laps to go. Isaac Shelley holds on to the race lead right now as Dominic Chisholm keeps trying to make a move. Dominic sits in second, Ali Fonseca in third place. Then we've got Aaron Kralik with that tied ride, beat up a little bit up in the front. Still doing phenomenal in fourth place, defending from Thomas Green, who sits in fifth. Then we've got Danny Cochran, somebody that we watched a lot last week, who's running quite well. He's got Matt Troush right behind him in that 09, like you mentioned, Harvick kind of esque paint scheme. Philip York sits in 8th place in the 97, and Braxton DeWeese has recovered quite well to 9th place. Mo Perry sitting at 10th place, rocking the top 10. He's also had himself a great recovery after not ideal first half of the race. Dakota Moniz sits in the 5 car in 11th place right now. He's done fairly well to keep it clean, and as one of the final transfers into this race, he's definitely done a good job of gaining these spots. Daniel Veglan, however, trying to get that spot away from him and take 11th spot away. Daniel sits in 12th. Kyle Rochelle in 13th. Mason Cassidy working the outside of Christopher Smith for 14th and 15th. Actually, rather, that's a lapped car. Christopher Smith sits in 15th between a few lappers. Ethan Smith, Justin Sipes sits a couple of laps down, and then we've got Owen Joyce, Rob Hattenback, Ryan Byrne, Thomas Walter, and well, we've got 19 laps to go. Isaac Shelley still holds on to the race lead, and this has got to be the longest green flag we've had throughout the course of this race. We're approaching 20 laps, and Dominic Chisholm has not given up an inch in terms of the battle for the race lead with Isaac Shelley.
He is not. In fact, Chisholm keeps chiseling away at that deficit, doing everything he can to make that leader sweat inside that race car.
You saw him touch the wall there.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a wall tap you see in drifting, so give that guy 10 bonus points up here from the SRM booth. Hey, it's not official, but hey, that's some great style to get up there and just throw that little plume of smoke up and keep marching and trucking on, as these drivers are literally using every inch of the racetrack right now to get around here as fast as they possibly can, as the 98 of Shelley continues to show that he has the mental poise and toughness to keep the 87 and the pack of angry birds behind him at bay.
Oh man, I just saw one of my favorite things to see in these short track races, and I'll try to get a proper camera to it.
I mean, look at how... Oh, there we go. That is...
Let's try to get some look at the amount of brakes that go into this car here as we approach 10 laps to go. We've got 12 to go this time by. Isaac Shelley has himself not much of a lead. Look at how close that 87 is. Right up on the back bumper. Look at this. And that SRT logo is almost underneath this camera. There he gets down to the back bumper.
I mean, you want to talk about some great camera work. Heads off to this guy up in the booth for bringing you guys at home these insane onboard racing angles, giving you guys a heads-up POV perspective of what's transitioning out on the racetrack. And just look at Dominic Chisholm. He is literally within inches at times, millimeters, of putting Isaac Shelley possibly out of the way or even in the wall as they continue lap after lap around this race facility.
Two things I love here, Matt. Look at how he's sawing back and forth as soon as he gets on the throttle, but listen to how late it is before he gets on it.
Yeah,
he's already almost on the straightaway before he puts down the full throttle, and that is the type of discipline that these drivers have. As we have 7 laps to go, can Chisholm take this victory away from Shelley, or can Shelley do what seems to be impossible and keep this car behind him as he's beating on that back bumper? We've got 6 laps to go, and we see a couple more guys going up, tapping that wall, just trying to get the best entry they can. We've seen a lot of that today, but on the back bumper now, there's probably less than 2 feet of a gap right now between the 87's front bumper and the 98's back bumper with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, thank God he does not have a backup camera, because I couldn't even imagine what the view out of the back of that race car would look like as the 87's knocking on the back door, literally, of Isaac Shelley.
And he gets into the back of him, gets him a little bit sideways. He checked up. Now it's about half a car length, but Ali Fonseca is coming up right behind these guys. He's less than a second behind him, and he's been chasing him down. 3 laps to go. It might not be enough time, but if contact happens, who knows? Isaac Shelley was able to get through at the right time. Maybe Ali Fonseca can. We've got 2 laps to go this time by. Is there going to be a bump and run?
2 laps to go this time by before we write this one off in the history books. Shelley continues to be the only driver on the racetrack to be able to keep these drivers at bay, surviving multiple bumps and
White
checks.
flag.
As
There's the bump. He goes up the racetrack. He's got a chance to get him back, though. Getting down into the corner. He dives it in deep. He turns the 87, gets him sideways. They both hit the wall. Ali Fonseca gets sideways across the line. Aaron Kralik wins the race.
Are you kidding me?
What a phenomenal finish here.
Oh my goodness. Thank God this race is virtual, because we were about to have a street battle out here on the racetrack as Shelley just goes in there full send and clears out. Oh my goodness.
All right, we are going to take a look-see here first from the blimp cam. These guys right behind the race lead. You saw that initial bump. Little bit of netcode is what did the initial sideways, and obviously some more netcode caused a bit more problems there, but Aaron Kralik with the perfect opportunity to get through there and steal the checkers in the absolute last moment. I mean, we talk about last lap passes, and I know the finish of the Daytona 24 in the LMP2 cars was pretty close, but man, this has to take the cake.
I mean, Kralik gets gifted one here at the end as the heavens part like the Red Sea. Oh my goodness, it's almost a biblical proportion what just happened here. The 97 and the 90, or the 87 and the 98, they get into their own little fist fight out there on the racetrack. And as they give each other the business, you're going to see the Red Seas part here in just a minute as the mayhem unfolds in front of them. As we see just off the hood, the 42, you see the 98, the 87, they're going to make contact. Netcode's going to get involved. He's going to spin the 42 off the nose, and somehow Kralik wins this one. Are you kidding me?
Well, I tell you what, we are going to bring him up in here. The Crawdad gets the job done here, and you stole one, man. We've watched that a couple of times. Please walk us through that last corner for you.
So I'm going to take a little farther back. The lap before, when I think it was the 87, he turned Isaac. So myself personally, I was thinking, okay, it's going to get interesting. I didn't know we were going to have, a shipment of pain going into 3 and 4. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to thank the guy behind me, Thomas Green. I'm watching the replay myself. He gave me a shove from hell that just propelled me forward. Oh my, that was insane. I'm going to be talking about that for a while now. Oh my God.
That was one of the most phenomenal finishes I've ever seen in racing, and I tell you what, that honestly is good enough to go toe-to-toe with that Daytona 24 finish we saw a little bit earlier today. But, yeah, Aaron, I'm probably just as speechless as you. I'm trying to figure out what to ask you after such a strong race. I mean, that tied ride was looking pretty good. You didn't really leave the top 5 throughout most of this race. And, yeah, you get the job done. How was your race, man?
Man, most of that is just survival of the fittest. But I thought after that first incident I was involved in, I forgot what lap it was, I thought I was done. I thought I had, damage. I was just going to be dropped into the back. But no, the old Tide Ride Holden, she was still strong as ever. I mean, not top 3 strong, but a little bit of luck, that'll happen. That'll do it for you. Oh, my.
Yeah, Kralik, this is Matt Metler up in the booth, and I'm just as shocked, I think, as everyone is watching this. And you said it best. The house of pain unfolds, and everyone's jumping around at the front of the field. And if you ever get the perfect time shot of a lifetime that just catapults you to the wind, the Red Sea parts, and it's almost biblical out there. I mean, my goodness.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but like I said earlier, Thomas Green, huge shout out to that guy. I love you, brother. But like I said, he gave me a shot of a lifetime. It just propelled me forward. Oh my God.
I was wondering how you were able to carry that much momentum. I didn't see the shot that he gave you until I had a second look at it. But I mean, if that was timed a little bit differently, that could have been a majorly different outcome. But that was, like you said, the greatest shot of a lifetime. That gives you the nitro booster to just go up there and steal one on the top side of the racetrack. I'm going to remember this one for a long time. I'm sure you will too.
Oh, for sure.
As the crawdaddy, Aaron Kralik, he's going to come up here victorious.
Yeah, before we let you go, we want to let you get your shout-outs in. Who do you want to thank?
Oh, gotta thank the teammates, man. Dakota, Thomas Walter, and Sean Huffstutler. We adversed a lot tonight. But man, those guys, you guys, for broadcasting and putting us on, and pretty much everyone else in the league, man. That was one hell of a show. And hopefully the audience is just psyched for that finish. Oh my God. Oh man, I'm gonna remember that for a while now.
Well, awesome stuff. We appreciate you coming around, hanging out with us. We're going to send you back to Victory Lane and let you go celebrate with your team. Congratulations once again. Aaron Kralik gets the job done here in a wild finish at Lanier. Now we've got Thomas Green. Matt, I'll let you kind of take care of that. Thomas, it's Matt. It's Liam and Matt up at the booth. How you doing?
Thomas Green, you got us up here, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't know if you're listening to the broadcast, but Aaron Kralik just gave you the shout out of a lifetime as you gave him the rocket booster punch of the century to get past that wreck and propelled him to the win. Walk us through that wild one. Was that anything like you foreseen or saw coming at the end?
Well, with how the whole race went, I was expecting there to be a little bit of chaos. I know the front guys are probably going to move each other, and I was just hoping that it would cause enough ruckus to maybe steal the top 3. I didn't think we could almost get the win, but yeah, that was a crazy last lap. I was sitting in 5th, and I was thinking I'm good with the top 5. I'll take that. And then yeah, all that happened coming out of 4, and honestly, I wish I gave Aaron a little bigger of a shot, got him a little looser, so maybe we could have been closer at the line.
Yeah, Aaron did say he appreciated that shot you gave him. It gave him just enough to come across the line. But
yeah, Thomas, it seemed like from the drop of the green flag of Heat 1, it was like all-out war on the racetrack, much more intense than we saw last Sunday night. Is it the racing surface that's part of the catalyst there? Why do you think just the level of intensity was so hyped tonight from the drop of the green flag?
Yeah, I think it's just this kind of racing, it's these cars that are high power, low grip, coming off the corner sideways, trying to fight for every inch on the track, and with having a preferred lane, wanting to be on the bottom, it just entices the bump and runs and the contact to be made. And I mean, towards the front, we were looking pretty good for a long time. I know a lot of the issues were in the back of the pack, but uh, it was good racing up front. I mean, this kind of racing is just chaos. It's a lot of fun though. You do it right, you get a good group of guys here, and we can definitely put on a good show.
As a race car driver, when you see all these different incidences and in wrecks unfolding around, it seems like almost every corner. Are you able to get mentally set in the race car, or does that still lurk in the back of your mind throughout the entire duration of that event?
It's definitely in my mind throughout the whole event, just wondering where the chaos is going to break, and we almost got caught up in some day-ending wrecks a couple of times, so we got lucky to be able to get P2 tonight. But yeah, I mean, going into this race, I knew this was going to be probably one of the most difficult tracks, just because I just couldn't, in practice, it was hard for me to find the groove and stay in the groove and just stay mentally zoned in on just hitting my marks and staying clean. And then you throw in the factor of everyone else trying to hit their marks and go as fast as they can and take every inch, and people going low, people going high, and doing all that. It's definitely a lot, but it's definitely a lot of fun.
Well, guys, big shout out to Thomas Green there for giving you guys another aspect at home that the camera wasn't able to show you guys, and that's mentally and how tough and challenging this racetrack was for these guys here tonight, as the three machine of Thomas Green comes out, survives, and exits the other side with the top two. Thomas, who do you want to thank on that machine before we cut you loose tonight?
I just want to thank you guys. You guys have an awesome broadcast. I love watching the races back, studying, and you guys make it very entertaining. Also, shout out to Aaron for that win. Good friend of mine. Well deserved.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. He survives the carnage tonight. Thomas Green comes home just a little bit short. P2, the three machine. We send it back to you, topside.
Absolutely. After a phenomenal race, we had Thomas Green join us up in here. We're going to go ahead and send him back to victory lane so he can celebrate with... I can't get victory lane, so I have to send him to driver's lounge. Sorry, buddy. But now you're going to have Ali Fonseca. Ali, I tell you what. We haven't interviewed anybody we expected to based on the way the last 3 laps looked, but you found yourself in 3rd place. It looked like you might have had a chance at the win with that last lap contact up in front of you. Kind of walk us through your last lap.
Oh boy. Honestly, I'm just glad I finished where I was hoping I'd finish. I was running behind them thinking, yeah, I'm probably going to finish 3rd. I'd been trying to save behind those guys for a while, and with 20 to go, I got a little over antsy and burned up the rear, so I was just kind of settling for 3rd. I saw Dominic get into Shelly there, and I thought, oh boy, here we go. And then, then Shelly returns the favor with the dive bomb, and I'm thinking, something might happen, and, I wish I had gone high. I thought they were going to stay up there. I thought I'd have a door open on the bottom, and it just wasn't there. I just piled right into them. Got a hit in the rear from Aaron there, and finished where I ultimately would have. So, I'm not disappointed. I'm pretty happy about it, and, congrats to Aaron. It's pretty cool to see him get one. That's the way Aaron would win it, of course. So, it's pretty funny. But yeah, man, it was crazy race.
It absolutely was, but you had a pretty strong run throughout most of it. I mean, you didn't really leave the top 5, and if you did, maybe by 1 or 2 spots, but not for very long. Kind of walk us through the rest of your day. Obviously, that last lap is going to kind of take the cake for a lot of things, but, walk us through your race. It seemed like you had a pretty good car today.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I started 6th. And for the first part of the race there, I just kept on getting kind of trapped on the outside, and just I wouldn't lose any spots, but I just couldn't go forward up there. So for the first maybe quarter of the race there, that's what I was kind of dealing with. Then I forget who it was, but the leaders all wrecked in front of me, and I snuck by on the bottom. That moved me up to 4th. Another caution came out shortly after that got me into third around Aaron, and once I got to third, I was thinking, okay, I'm sitting nice and peachy. So I just pretty much just tried to stay behind the two guys in front of me and save my stuff best I could, and I was for a while until about like I said 20 to go. I got a little over antsy and made a couple mistakes on my part in the rears, but all in all, it was a good race. I can't complain.
Well, awesome stuff, dude. You definitely put on a good show. And before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank for such a strong performance throughout the course of this race?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Definitely, all my friends and family, and anyone that really watches this stream. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for putting us on the map and making this all possible. It's pretty cool. This league just started off as an idea a couple months ago, and to see it turn into what it is now, it's pretty cool. And of course, you guys, thanks for hopping on board and broadcasting and doing all that you do for us. We really appreciate it, and yeah, just stoked and ready for next week.
Rock on, man. We appreciate you taking the time to join us up here in the booth, and we'll send you back to Victory Lane and let you go celebrate with your team. That's
Yep,
Ali
appreciate it,
Fonseca, number 42, finished third place today. And Matt, I know that was a lot to unpack, and we did our best to kind of get back into the zone after that last lap while we were speaking with the race winner and whatnot. But if you could try to sum this race up in just a few short sentences.
Yeah, my vocal cords are destroyed, as are the race cars. When we started this broadcast off and I said these guys were getting ready to light up prime time, it was like we took Nuketown 2020, put a racetrack around the outskirts of this, and incorporated it into a Call of Duty style battle out there on the racetrack. As we saw Talladega type crashes unfolding, cars on the hoods taking flight across the racetrack. Survival of the fittest, as we've heard in the broadcast. A phenomenal, crazy ending. The parting of the Red Seas as Aaron Kralik comes home the winner as the 98 and 87 Tango and wreck down the bottom of the racetrack, coming to the start-finish line. This was everything you could have ever wanted in a short track showdown. Oh my goodness, I am so fired up right now. My vocal cords are shot, but I don't care. I'll remember that one for the ages. And it's been a pleasure to be up here in the booth with you again as we get to close out tonight's primetime event as VASTT goes ahead and brings the war to the state of Georgia. Survive and alive again. Big shout out to the 1, the 3 of Thomas Green and Ali Fonseca for joining us in the booth tonight. What's around the other turn next week? I don't know. But if it's anything like this, I hope all you guys in the live stream make sure you're right back here, locked in with SRM as we pick up round number 3 next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Round number 3 next week at New Smyrna. But before we get to that, we've got our feature results we're going to run through. Aaron Kralik wins the race after, once again, a crazy last lap. Thomas Green and Ali Fonseca were able to also get through to get to the podium. Braxton DeWeese, with a phenomenal recovery after some early contact, gets the job done, gets 4th place. Danny Cochran with 5th place, a nice consistent run. Philip York, Matt Trouch, Mo Perry gets up into the top 10. Dakota Moniz, Kyle Rochelle, after spinning a couple of times, gets himself up into the top 10 as well. Nice recovery there. Daniel Viglon, Mason Cassidy, and John Forbes, Christopher Smith, Isaac Shelley. And then we'll go ahead and get the page turned here.
Yeah, as we turn the page there, in 14th position, Ethan Smith. 15th, Dominic Chosom. He was a part of that last lap mayhem between for the lead as they came to the start-finish line. In 16th, Mason Cassidy. 17th, John Forbes. 18th, with a disappointing night tonight as he got caught up in trouble early, Justin Sipes. In 19th, Owen Joyce. 20th belongs to Robert Hattenbach. 21st, Thomas Walter. 22nd, Jarrett Timmage. 23rd, Ryan Bird. 24th, you guessed it, Mitchell Robin. And in 25th position tonight, Jim Duda. I believe we had 26 starters, but I think the one was race control, which means
Yep.
Jim Duda is going to round out the final order here tonight as the checkered flag strikes, if you will, to end this match as we close out tonight. I still can't believe what I witnessed. Can't wait for next week.
Absolutely. We got to watch some phenomenal racing with these guys throughout the course of this race. And we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in here live on Sim Racing Media on YouTube. I'm Liam Irving, joined by Matt Metler up in the booth. And yeah, I need to unwind after that one. That was a phenomenal race and an incredible last lap. I hope you guys were just as excited as we were, and we'll catch you next week for New Smyrna.